Hello, investors, and welcome back to Just Randy Stocks. Let's talk about Proterra. We've got an earnings coming up. I think that this could be one of the most important earnings in this company's history. It really sets the tone for this new leadership team. I want to talk about the macroeconomic indicators. I want to talk about what's come up on Twitter. I want to talk about ARVL at the end, and I want to talk about a few offers, but I'm going to save that to the end. Let's get straight into it. Proterra announces date of conference call. I want to tell you, should you be preparing for this, and how do you do that? I do recommend that you go back and you listen to the Q3, and I've set that up for you. We're going to talk about that. So let's take a look at FinViz for the top 20 and see what happened on Friday. There were some gains after the jobs numbers came out better than expected, and you could see, look at the losers compared to the winners. Now, there wasn't any massive run-up, and everyone across the board has taken hits to their share price. This is not just Proterra that is low and at a level that would make most investors frustrated. We have been spoiled in the past with extreme growth. Everything was stimulated, and now we're starting to get back to more realistic levels. And that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing numbers that aren't crazy, but this did dip massively on Friday and then came back up for recovery. So just notice Ford Motor Company, General Motors, I was talking about this before, that I believe you're going to have bigger gains with the 100% EV plays rather than combustion mixed with EV. So just pay attention to that, what the trend is. Proterra, of course, is our focus for this video. So let's keep moving. Into the macroeconomic indicators, we've got Ukraine, latest updates, U.S. troops moved into Germany, and then we've got China and Russia at the Olympics, or prior to the Olympics, basically showing a unified front and not in favor of further NATO expansion. So we're not completely out of this conflict, which could be one of those macroeconomic indicators that cause the market to respond. Another thing that could happen is on February 9th, leading up to February 10th. February 10th, inflation is supposed to be all out of whack this year, and we're looking for some news on the biggest things that are causing these inflation numbers to be up. Are we addressing those? Are we getting any signals that it's coming back down? So there could be a mixture of results. I'm expecting the market to be red. And on February 10th, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. That could be a buying opportunity. We're always looking for buying opportunities. You never want to fully exit the market or your position. You want to take advantage of cost averaging down, because this revenue is supposed to be doubling this year. So you're looking for that growth at the end of the year, and these things are going to stable out. We had one of the worst months in January since 2008. Keep that in perspective. Okay, now what can you do to prepare for the Q3 or the Q4 earnings call? I did this Proterra Q3 earnings call and timestamps for key talking points. Be sure to use this as a tool. It's not meant to be a very difficult audio presentation for you to hear. You can go through here and say, Randy, I'm not familiar, or I don't believe you when you're talking about they're supposed to be adding 3 shifts, or that they're going to have problems with, or they're doing better in quality, or they're going to have problems with any kind of procurement, or whatever your question is, right? So I've captured each of the major topics. The biggest thing was the 5 to 10 buses that they said that they were going to miss. And that's one that I keep in the back of my head when I'm thinking about this, because I think they're telling us that it's probably not going to be an amazing Q4. And I just want you to know that it's not, get out of your position leading up to it, because this has not run up enough. I think we could revisit, another test level below if this goes south, but I don't expect this to be majorly bad. But analysts are being very critical. I mean, how much more critical can you be on a company that just looks so strong financially compared to the competitors? They have the best financials than any of the other companies out there for their space. Now, the last time I covered this, I put this mark down for 665. I made no promises. I don't know how far this could go down, but it did hit that. And of course, you're going to lose a little bit. It's going to go a little bit further under that. It went to 655. So if you got in, if you had money on the side and you're patient and you're watching these levels, this is the level that I think it could revisit if there's not necessarily a great earnings. And you can see on the 30-minute chart, that was a very bullish candlestick action just leading up. And then now it's starting to hit that level where I was talking about before. I haven't changed any of these lines. I think that these are still good lines. Now, I wouldn't buy up here. If you haven't bought, I mean, of course you want to buy low and sell high, right? So, I mean, if you're wanting to get in, cost average down, you didn't make this level down here at 665, I would keep the money on the side. And if you miss it, you get the next one. If you hit it, then great. Now, of course, you make your own decisions. Play this however you want. But I just want you to know 665 held up. Last time we talked about this, it could have revisited that. I think it did like a day or two later after I did my last video about a week ago. So never hesitate with companies that you have strong conviction in and buying them low, because that was a rare opportunity last month, I believe. Now, bad Q4, I just think it's going to be another opportunity to see this possibly go down into the $6 range. If it turns out bad, they could have a phenomenal Q4. They could have done amazing. I doubt it. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm right for those of you looking for a buying opportunity, but I hope I'm wrong, because of course this deserves to start showing a trend in the right direction. Now, if we go to Twitter, they had a post here, and there were a lot of questions being asked underneath this, and I just want to show you that this is all about the batteries for this build. And you can go back, and they're gonna update their sheets, and you can see down here battery supply for this truck that they're showing in the picture. It's just battery. So if you're curious if they're sharing any photos of any vehicles, and you see people talking about the tires or the bus itself or the build or the powertrain or anything else, we're focused on the batteries here. So I just wanted to mention that they have this overview slide, and they should be updating all these slides, sometime soon. Now, they also had a rep, vice president from strategic partnerships and Proterra Powered. They had a rep go to the summit and talk. I could not find, and I think some people were asking, could you post that interview? So here, Proterra, if you're listening on your Twitter page, get that video out for people if it was recorded, so that way we can listen to it. Now, anything that we can do to learn more about the business, everyone wants to absorb it. They would love to know what's going on. So you can see down here, if you want to go check out these other videos, I have not listened to any of these. There are several videos on here that you can go check out if you want to know what's happening. The gist of what I understand really occurred is we've got to do more domestically to capture metals and minerals for the very end of the supply chain, where, of course, Proterra has secured battery supply through 2028, but we're not doing enough domestically to secure stuff within, the United States. Now, we know it's about to switch over to powered and energy, right? Transit, they hit about 50 buses. That's on average what they do. But I wanted to make sure that you understand that these are severely tested. They are put through everything out there. And you can just see the type of damage that they put through these batteries. And they are getting better quality out, which is helping out their gross margins where they need it. They absolutely need it. But since the shift is going to go towards powered, I also wanted to make sure, because this was one of my questions, what are we doing to be innovative and get things faster? And you can see there is a portion of this assembly that does use robotics. So I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with that type of innovation. What bothers me is the build time for the buses. They are still a significant part of the revenue, and I'm just not sure how innovative we've been through every iteration. I think we're on at least generation 5 of the buses. It's 4 or 5. And I'm not sure how much we've gotten better at pulling parts out. There's 2,500 individual parts where they could customize the bus. I just think that's too many options, and that's why we are definitely higher for being a victim of supply chain issues. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that, because right here it says buses, annual capacity here at this facility, We are not doing an annual 1-year capacity of 280 plus 400 vehicles out of these 2 locations. We don't have 2 shifts per each location. They're looking to do that, but they can't get the parts to build the buses. So they've only got 1 shift, I believe, per facility, and they're only putting out 50 buses per quarter. I think that's what they're doing. So that would be about 200. So they're 80 vehicles below this, and you just might as well wipe this out. I mean, obviously they're getting something out of each of these facilities, but I don't think this annual capacity model I think it represents what they're fully capable of doing. And I've talked about this before. If there isn't labor constraints, if there isn't part constraints, if all of the machinery is up, this is max capacity, right? And they are nowhere near achieving max capacity. So that's what we're looking for them to do. Now let's talk about Arrival, because not only is this a competitor and from the robotics side, but I believe that they are capable of building a bus so much faster than Proterra. I don't think it's going to take them 14 to 16 months because they're able to take some of the things out of the manufacturing process. Now in Q2, Q3, and Q4, they have these micro factories that they're supposed to be standing up this year. And the reason I point this out is because I called this out as a buy under $4. This is one that I believe all of the risk has been taken out of the price, and they have their 4th quarter earnings right after Proterra's on March 2nd. So we've got Proterra's, which is going to be on March 1st. And then I would like you, and I think it's really important to just look at the type of technology and just understand this business model, so that way we can see the direction. Now, of course, Proterra's got a foothold. Proterra's not going anywhere. This is one that I want you to keep, but you might want to set some money aside while Arrival's trying to figure this out. They could produce and well surpass the revenue projections that Proterra is projecting massively. So I just think it's got so much more opportunity to run. I'm going to do another video with the investor relation questions that I sent because I haven't gotten a response yet. We're going into almost 2 months. I might be rounding that up, but I wanted to talk about memberships. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, about 16.8% of the views come from subscribers. Please subscribe to the channel. A lot of work goes into these Proterra videos. You guys know that. I need to get to 25%. That's the goal. And I do have a free Discord. Be sure to check that out. And there is a Patreon. I just published on February 4th the top 10 metaverse stocks, and the number one stock is the number one stock pick that I have listed out of these 10. You're definitely going to want to check that out. It's $5, $10, $25 contribution to get these stocks that I don't have time to do videos on that are incredibly beneficial. Matter of fact, Snap, talked about Snap on January 27th, and it ran up over 60%. Now, of course, I can't guarantee 60% returns on everything that I post here, but you want options sent to you so that way you can make your own investment decisions. I think it brings you a lot of value, and I look forward to spending more time in the Patreon with the Patreon members. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I got. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.